I am live, I am live. I don't know why I sing that every time. I think I'm thinking of, you know, the classic Frankenstein films where they're like, it's alive! I don't know. It's a thing. And it's appropriate for spooky season, I guess. I'm hoping that the construction noises outside don't get too loud again, because that's been a thing this morning. And again, today, it's as hot as balls. We had a couple of sort of more mild days. We had torrential rain for most of yesterday. No, not yesterday. Tuesday. And now it's hotter than Satan's ass crack again. Climate change. So yeah, I'll just wait a little bit and see if anyone rocks up. And if not, I will just start gassing. Well, I'm already gassing. I will start comparing the cards. So I'm just gonna sew this little pouch while I wait for some folks to show up. Oh, Sam's popped in. Oh, I was hoping you'd do this. I was humming and hawing about it because it is lunchtime and I haven't had lunch yet, but I'm also like, I've got really like TMI, like my period is kicking my ass and I'm like feeling really bloated and uncomfortable and it's making me not hungry. So I'm just like, I'm just going to go live. Mr. Bear will be off to walk Knobster on his lunch break. So we can have a later lunch. It's fine. Jen's here. Hello, Jen. Amanda G. Garden Goddess Tarot. Kaz. Rosemary's here. Hello. Good day to you too, Rosemary. So yeah, I've just been sewing well, that's what I've been doing this morning, sewing tarot pouches for the old Halloween shop update. It's coming together. I haven't sewn any accessories yet. So I'm just trying to get the pouches done because I know that's mostly what people will be there for rather than accessories. But I would like to be able to sell some jewelry as well. Stopping in really quick to have to work. Oh, thank you. That's nice of you. I'm like, I was looking at them building up and I was like, I glided Simon at the Hermit's Cave and I was like, oh my God, like, what if I make all these fucking pouches and no one wants them, or like 5 people want them and I've got like 30 Halloween pouches because people are like, oh, I never get any, and then I make a load and then I'm like, knowing my luck, no one will want them because they're Halloween themed. But my thinking is, right, some people will want them for Halloween themed decks, like literally like the Halloween tarot, for example. Some of them will want them to put their normal non-Halloween themed or spooky themed decks in just for the season of Halloween time, spooky season. And some people are spooky bitches all year round, just like myself. Case in point, I just realised I'm wearing, you know, and we'll want just spooky stuff just because, right? So, you know, Deanne's here, Blue Crescent Tower. Scott, hi Scott. Gotta walk my Tink. Is your dog called Tinkerbell? And I don't think you'll have a problem. I don't know. You never know, Rosemary, because it's a very specific thing. I'll see how this goes, and then I was like, if it goes well, then I might do a Christmas collection. Because they're even less Christmas themed decks, but I thought people might want Christmas themed pouches for their decks anyway. I feel like spooky is more of an all year round thing. It can be more of an all year round thing for those of us who are sort of darkly inclined or sort of a bit gothy, you know. So Amanda G, I'm spooky all year round too. Yeah, big up to my spooky bitches. I would love Halloween pouches for any decks, says Deanne. Well, that's reassuring. We'll see what happens. So I'm also going to be doing a very specific way of running my shop because I've spoken about it before, but I don't think people are aware. And also I haven't seemed to have communicated clearly that I managed to get the shipping out to Europe again, because I put a hold on shipping to Europe, mainland Europe, the EU, should I say, because I had a whole bunch of drama with new things that were brought in for taxes and stuff. I managed to get that sorted out pretty quickly within a number of days, and so I was back up to shipping to the EU again literally within less than a week. But I don't think I did announce that like on my channel and on my Instagram, but I don't think the message got out because I saw Hani over at Fierce and Pretty mention, I think in a recent video, that she's like, oh, it's such a shame Kelly doesn't ship to the EU anymore. And I was like, oh, I do. I think I should have commented on that video. I need to go back and check if I commented to let her know. But what I'll be doing in order to minimize the amount of time that I spend in the post office, like I don't want to have to keep going into the post office because it's quite sort of scary with COVID in my area. And people, like, you know, there's no mask mandates anymore. So as a clinically vulnerable person, I'm sort of more at risk if I'm like the only one wearing a mask. So my plan is to put the shop update, leave it up for a few days, and then when I've got some orders in, put the shop back on holiday mode, process those orders, send them out, and then again, because otherwise I'm going to have orders coming in dribs and drabs, and I'm going to have to make 2 or 3 drops to the post office a week, and I want to do 1 a week. So I'm going to do that, and then what I'll do is on the following, I think I'm going to do weekly drops just on Fridays, just for October, and then I'll open it up again on a Friday, leave it maybe till like Monday night, Tuesday morning, put it on holiday mode. So I need to somehow communicate that clearly for people, because I think people will be like, oh, everything's sold out again, or your shop's on holiday mode, and I'll be like, it's literally just because of the pandemic. If there wasn't a pandemic, I would just leave them up all the time because it'd be fine to go to the post office every few days, you know. Oh, anyway, I am occasionally, I look at a spooky deck, but usually decide to save my money. I almost bought the Mystic Martian yesterday. I've not heard of that one, Rosemary. Well, not spooky, definitely not one I'd use every day. Kim's popped in. Hi, Kim. Christmas presents too. That's I guess maybe people would buy. Would people buy spooky pouches for Christmas? I don't know. You don't really go out. I don't go out really, just dog walks. Same, Sam. And at the moment, I can't actually walk the dog either. I've got this injury that I'm doing physiotherapy for, and I'm not allowed to like overexert myself. So even getting up and down the stairs is quite painful. So I'm just like, I can't even do that. So I've been very much housebound for several weeks now. 3 weeks. I'm wanting to get the Smith-Waite tarot for Halloween this year. I've seen a few walkthroughs and it looks gorgeous. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Meow, meow, meow. Leanne, hello. Lovely to see you. Planning anything for Mabon? Probably not this year so much. I'll probably just do sort of a I don't know. I don't really celebrate. I sort of shifted my wheel of the year a little bit in the way I view it. I'm in the process of sort of, what's the word? Creating my own wheel, as it were, and sort of renaming things and reassessing how I feel about the traditional wheel of the year, because it is very much a construct created by people like Gerald Gardner and stuff. It's not as old as people think it is. So I'm like, what does it mean for me? Yeah, which is Scott was asking what it is, and Leanne's answered. Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of like the witches Thanksgiving. Can I has words today? Anyway, I'm nearly done with this pouch. I'm just going to finish it after lunch, I think. So yeah, what I thought we could do is look at the Halloween Tarot, because it is the deck that is on my altar. I always do that. I always point or look to what I'm talking about. It's on my tarot trolley, my altar. And then I've got the Moon Baby and the Squid Cake Marseille just over there on I've got like 2 desks together, so on my second desk over there. But yeah, I have the mini version of this. I've had the mini version of this for a few years, and I do pull it out every October. But I just thought it'd be fun to show how clever this deck is. I think I did something like this for the Zombie Tarot, or I said I was going to do something like this for the Zombie Tarot a few years ago. Or I've compared the Zombie Tarot to the Smith-Waite a bunch of times, just in passing, and shown random cards maybe, because it's so clever. And I did show a few cards in a previous video, at like how clever, like the people that made it really know what they're talking about. They really know their tarot, because the associations that they make are really clever, and it gets seen as a novelty deck, but I would argue that actually it's really, really well thought out. And again, the same goes for the Halloween Tarot. I'm just going to get all of my hair off my neck, because it is hot. It is hot in this room. I'm in the greenhouse, as I like to call it, in this sunroom. I don't know what's going on with my hair. Who cares? where is the box for it? Hang on. Because is the artwork by, so it says, oh no, that was it, Kipling, yeah, Kipling West. The artwork's by this very sort of over the garden wall, vintage Halloween vibe, which I love so much. I love that vintage Halloween of the sort of that like early 20th century. It's really, really fun. Obviously, the zombie tarot is more sort of mid 20th century. It's got more of a 50s and maybe a late 50s vibe, going by some of the imagery. Joshua Benjamin, I have that effect on people. What's this? A Samhain astrological celebration happens on December 2nd when the sun reaches the 15 degrees in Scorpio. That's interesting. I pay absolutely no mind to astrology. It's all Greek to me, honestly. But that's interesting. Just seeing if I've missed any checks. Mew, 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 mew. It's a Scots. Everyone's saying hello to everyone. Cool. Okay, so let's have a look. I don't know if I could do like the whole deck because we would be here for quite a long time because I waffle. But I just thought I could just sort of, I've got them all separated into piles, and I'm just going to sort of pull the ones that I find interesting. Now, I really love the Fool in this deck, in this the reverse switchy reversey thing of StreamYard, twisting my melon. Is I love it because it's got Sid Haig. Sid Haig was an actor. He died only a few years ago, maybe 2018. I can't remember, but he was a really cool guy. He's been in some horror films. He did at least 2 of Rob Zombie's horror films. I think House of a Thousand Corpses, and I think he was in another one. But this is totally like this deck probably. I don't know how long Sid Haig had been doing that very specific makeup. And I can't, this says 1996 on it, but I don't know if it was made in the 80s or if this was the first printing or not. Hello, 6 of Wands. But this to me, even if it's not intentionally Sid Haig, to me is basically Sid Haig. And that's my headcanon. I just love it. I love his outfit. I love his little pom-poms on his shoes. And I love the black cat features in every single card in this deck. So it's almost like we're following the black cat on its sneaky little journey. And the black cat features on this really fun reversible back. This is one of my all-time favorite backs of a deck because you've got cats, you've got eyes, you've got spiders, you've got bats, you've got stars, you've got skulls, and like I believe you've got it's fish. Yeah, fish. I always think it's potion bottles, but whenever I look closely, no, it's not. But yeah, it's like, it's just fun. It's black and orange. I mean, what's not to love? So yeah, and what, you can see here with the Fool, he's got, instead of a row, this is going to go, like I keep getting confused. Can you see here he's juggling? But if you look at the ball that he's got in his hand, this side, it's white, and it's got a flower in it. So here we've obviously got that nod. And then obviously the Fool has a knapsack. And this clown has like a doctor's bag. I actually have a bag like this. It's black because it's me. But I actually own a bag that's almost exactly like this, a proper doctor's bag. And I love it. It's my favorite bag. And it's got a little like skull and crossbones on it and another like juggling ball. Ooh. And you've got the little moon. So instead of the sun, you've got the moon. Oh my god, I've got to get the hang of this. Instead of the moon, this is going fucking well, isn't it? You can see it's got the moon instead of the sun, and the moon's got a little face. It's looking in there. Is that drilling too loud? And then instead of the dog, you have the cat. And what appears to be, I think, at the bottom is Datura, or otherwise known, some people might know it as Jimson weed or deadly nightshade. It's a poisonous plant that you do not want to mess with, but it looks very much like it. So I think that's what that's meant to be. So there's quite a lot of nuance in layering this. It's almost like he could, if he's not careful, he could get tangled up and trip over in this poisonous plant. I mean, I'm pretty sure I don't know if touching it hurts you, or if you do actually have to ingest it. I can't remember, but either way, it could be pretty dangerous, right? So that's the Fool. He's looking up at his juggling balls. He's paying too much attention to this. It could be he's taking a leap and he's going to be fine. He could get tangled up and fall over. That cat could be, you know how cats and dogs get like under your feet. Like I've got a small dog, and sometimes she comes right up behind me. I could be like in the kitchen doing something, and she like comes in so quietly and like stands literally right behind my feet, and I go to step back and I almost like go flying over her. That could happen with him, but going forwards. So Datura is not a tree. No, like Datura. Let me see. Datura is in Datura plant. No, Datura is a genus of 9 species of poisonous vespertine flowering plants belonging to the family Solanaceae. I can never say those. The Roman, the Latin, I guess, Roman. Other common names include moonflower, devil's weed, and hell's bells. Hell's bells. So yeah, no, it is Datura. I think it gets referred to as Jimson weed quite a bit in certain parts of the USA. So I just like that. It's just one card, and it's Angel's Trumpet might be another one, Baby Witch Farmer. But I think it's just really, really fun. Like it works. It's very much easily readable as the Fool, but also it puts its own little spin on it, and I really like that. See, so it's more than just a novelty deck. This one's probably a bit more sort of funsies. We've got the Magician, and you've got your sort of classic tuxedo wearing, mustachioed sort of gentleman magician, and he's pulling a rabbit out of a hat. There's the cat right there on the pumpkin. It appears to be that there's a snake, an Ouroboros snake eating its own tail in the pumpkin. So like it has so many layers. Does the Fool have a trick or treat set? Yes, Leanne. He's got this bag, this knapsack, this doctor's bag instead of a knapsack. So it's got all of it, touches on all the main parts of the Fool card. And he's surrounded by, if you can see, the suits in this deck are pumpkin. Oh, sorry, the way it's all flipped around is freaking my brain out. Pumpkins, imps, bats, and ghosts. So he's surrounded by all of the elements as our original magician is, but obviously they're creatures in this deck. And yeah, his magic is the rabbit, and there's like this little old school skull looking up at what he's doing, smiling, which I love. And then there's all these like lemniscates all around the arch, and you've got the roses and the lilies. So again, it touches on every single part, but does it in this wonderfully vintage Halloween way. Does anyone else own this deck? Have you looked at it closely? I just think it's so clever. It just brings me so much joy. I'm like, I put it away usually towards the end of winter, because I'm like, I want the joy of getting it back out in spooky season. But my goodness, it does work as I think it's a really good all-rounder, and this is the thing, if you're going to do a Smith-Waite based deck, it's like, I think I said this before, if you're going to do a cover version of a song, it has to be as good, if not better, than the original. What are you bringing to, why are you doing the cover? So for me, it's doing Smith-Waite, but it's bringing its own flavor, and it's adding these little extra bits. So the High Priestess. Oh, some more people have come in. Let's see. Oh, that's just up really, really quickly. Shauna's coming. Oh, it's Shauna. Is that you, Six of Wands? Because I didn't know. I don't believe I know your name. I've watched. Do you say your name in your videos? Oh my god, my memory is poo. Just on a morning walk, taking a bench break. Oh, I thought you said talking. Leanne's talking about the Sabbats. Leanne's also talking about American Horror Story. Oh my god, I tapped out halfway through the sideshow one and never watched any again. I can't with Ryan Murphy. I just can't. What's your numerology and palmistry, if I may ask? Ginger people are often crazy gifted. I'm still investigating why. I have no idea what you mean by my numerology and palmistry. And I'm sort of err on the side of making like vast statements about ginger people with regards to their gifted. I don't think I'm gifted at all in any way. I have a good eye, but I'm also a good eye. By a good eye, I mean for sort of design and art, but I'm also a trained eye. I'm trained in art and design, so I don't know if one came before the other. But I wouldn't call that gifted. That's years of like drawing and painting and sewing and crafting. So that's just practice, isn't it? Meow. Okay, let's see. Does the foot? Oh, I saw that one. Looked for the voodoo chief at Leanne. Oh, was this? I don't know what that's on version. The bat. Katie. Oh, Katie's popped in. Hello, Katie. Oh my God, Katie. I just watched the one about what your favourite deck says about you. I really needed that this morning. That really made me laugh. Go watch it if anyone hasn't seen it. My gods. I'm not going to give my birthday right out on here. Channel the Divine Prince. Oh, okay, this is obviously Scott and Leanne having a little bit of a in chat as people will want to do, I guess. Anyway, this was meant to be a walkthrough. I'm 20 minutes in and we've looked at 2 cards, which is pretty much on par for me. There's no way I'm going to be able to look at this whole deck. I will do as much as I can, and if people are interested in like a continuation, then I guess maybe we could do that. Oh dear. Oh my God, my cramps are kicking my ass. No, my cramps are kicking my uterus. No, my uterus is kicking the rest of me. Anyway, I'm trying to focus, but I'm in pain. And I took some painkillers, but they've not really worked. And I'm sweating my tits off, and I've got a hot water bottle because the painkillers haven't helped. So I need something to like help my tummy. Okay, Josh is Josh is like, I don't know, talking about numerology and nines and prophets. Interesting, very interesting. Okay, the High Priestess. Oh my God, one day I'll get used to this reverse situation. So obviously, I'm making an assumption here. I was just about to say, so obviously we're all familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith, the Smith-Waite. This is the Smith-Waite Centennial, by the way, the bordered version, for those of you who are wondering what this deck is, specifically as a Smith-Waite. We all know, I mean, some of you may not have seen this. I'm assuming, but you know what they say about making assumptions. Never assume anything, right? Has Gerald popped in? Hi, Gerald. You all right, my love? If we look here, you can see we've got the moon, and she's actually standing on the moon here. And then she's got, oh my God, I'm just going to hold one up at a time because my brain cannot. And then you can see we've got the cat. You always spot the cat. It's weird because I'm used to the mini version. I'm so used to the cat seeming so much smaller, but that's just because the cards are so much smaller. I'm like, hell, the cat is actually quite prominent in these cards. It's quite interesting seeing. And actually having the larger version, I'm spotting more things than I noticed in the small version, because obviously the small version is smaller and I have to wear these bad boys. And this prescription is out of date, but I haven't been able to go and get an eye test because panini. So yeah, we've got these like little berries, and they don't necessarily, I mean, I think they're meant to be pomegranates, and it would make sense that they're pomegranates, but I've never seen a pomegranate on its tree or its plant, so I can't go by checking the leaves. To me, it makes sense that it would be pomegranates, but it could maybe something is. It doesn't look like rose hips. I mean, they have that little rose hip shape. I don't know. And then she's got ivy climbing up, and then instead of the like columns, she's got like these 2 towers, grey and white tower, like castle type towers. So it's just such a clever like interpretation. She's got a bat hanging off of her finger, and she's got her book, but her book is closed. So I'm guessing that's like her spell book, her grimoire. And she's got all these stars, almost like that the stars are the backdrop as opposed to the cloth behind the Empress here. The night sky is the backdrop for the Empress in this deck. And I just think it's really, really fun and cute. It's cute and spoopy and fun and clever. And I loves it. Okay. Now, so did I say Empress? I meant to say High Priestess. This is the Empress. I recently got the Centennial and I love it. So much better than the horrible blotchy original Rider-Waite deck, right? I think they're pomegranates, Witch Baby Farmer. I knew what you meant, Amanda. Morning, Justin, you're right. Okay, oh my God, can they not with the drilling? And I kind of have to have the window open because it's so warm. So we have the Empress. I'm not the most enamored with the Smith-Waite Empress. I mean, she's all right. You know, but she's not my favorite. And sorry, I keep squeaking on the table. I actually prefer this one because, first of all, it's the Bride of Frankenstein's monster, or the Bride of Frankenstein, I guess, because Frankenstein does create her, but she's not meant to be Frankenstein's bride. Frankenstein is the doctor. It's meant to be his creature's bride. So it's a little confusing, right? But here the cat is right up there on the chair, which makes sense, right? The cat is like, I want to be on that comfy chair. You've got the lovely autumn leaves. You can even see hanging off of the back of her chalon, she has this little tassel with a skull on it. She's got a cauldron here behind her. The seat has clawed feet. She's got the abundance of like apple trees and vines behind her. It's just so cute and clever. So if we look at the original, I imagine the like cauldron takes the place of the shield. But you still get that sumptuousness, but without like, I don't know. I actually prefer it. Did Frankenstein's creature ever have a name? Not as far as I know. He never wanted to name it because he didn't want to humanize it, because he, like, after he had created it, he was horrified and legged it. He completely legged it and like just ran away and left this poor creature. Like, I know the creature ends up killing people, but the creature's like killing people because everyone's like, oh no, it's hideous. Like, get over it. Poor guy. Poor thing. Poor creature. I massively empathize and sympathize with the creature in Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus, to give it its full title. The Emperor. Again, Emperor, not my fave card. And I think the thing that I dislike about the Empress in the Smith-Waite is that in the Marseille, she is definitely the counterpart to the Emperor. She is an empress. She is there. She's on her throne. She has the scepter. She's in like a throne room or wherever she is, and she's usually facing the Emperor. In this one, you've got actually, she's in some decks she's facing forward. It depends on the deck. Anyway, in this, you've got, the Emperor is here on his like big throne, and yeah, he's like outside on a mountaintop rather than in a throne room. But I feel like the Empress has been sort of bumped down to like loving Earth Mother, and that's not to say there's nothing wrong with being a loving Earth Mother, but it feels very much like she doesn't have the same. It feels like there's an imbalance there, and it winds me the fuck up. And then you get a lot of decks that then interpret her or present her. What's the word? Depict her as then pregnant, and I'm like, oh, that for me, that Empress is like a boss bitch. Like, for me, if there's going to be like a fecund and pregnant and Earth Mothery character within the tarot, it's going to be like the Queen of Pence, right? I don't know. Bye, Katie. You take care. So anyway, so let's just put that one back. But the Emperor in this is most definitely the counterpart, right? Because you've got Frankenstein's monster and the Bride of Frankenstein. So they did a better job. And, you know, she definitely looks more like regal in a royal garden than like Earth Mother in this. And he, you know, he's got his cat. There's like a brain in a, I don't know if you can see there, a brain in a glass flask, but then there's like flowers. And actually he has more, like the Emperor in the original doesn't have any like flowers or anything, and they're sort of like this slightly soft, and the flowers are in like brain water. I don't know. Like flowering, blooming thoughts. I don't know. And he's got his scepter and orb there. And you can see the astrological symbol for the ram is there's that little bit there. So you are getting this sort of pulled in here. And then there's just the candle, and then there's like you can see out the window, and there's like a sort of snowy scape out there. And I wonder if that's meant to be like when the creature ends up in like he ends up in the Arctic. So maybe that's him at the Arctic. I don't know. Frankenstein refers to his creature as creature, fiend, spectre, the daemon, wretch. Yep, I remember him saying wretch quite a lot. Devil, thing, being, an ogre. However, the creature has no name. Yep. See, poor thing, poor dude. I said good morning, but it's clearly afternoon for you. It is indeed afternoon for me. You just woke up for work. Oh, yeah. Well, that time difference, huh? Are you 5 hours behind or 8 hours? Wardrobe malfunction. What's a wardrobe malfunction waiting to happen? I'm confused. Always feel that the Empress is going to trip over her dress in a minute. Yeah, it's very sort of sack-like. Just like she wants a big moo-moo. Comfy, though, right? Comfy. I have a couple of really comfy dresses that are really long, but yeah, the number of times I've nearly had an accident going up or going down the stairs more than anything, because my foot gets caught on them. I tend to I need to get one of those belts that then has skirt hitches so that I can just strap my skirt up if I need to be going up and down stairs quite a bit, because I'm a liability to myself because I'm very clumsy. Minty fresh. I've got 7 minutes to get home and wake up my kid from school. Gotta book it. Bye now. You take care. So the Hierophant again. I prefer the Hierophant in this deck. I feel like I'm only going to get through the mages in this, and then maybe I can do each suit independently of each other as well, like in different videos maybe. So here we go. We've got a mummy. And I guess there is, now that I think about it, there can be sort of problematic implications with regards to mummies. There's obviously the issue of, you know, people from like European countries going in and raiding, to like stealing from, opening up tombs and taking the objects out. Like I've seen the mummy room in the British Museum, and as fascinating as it is, like, we stole that stuff. Like, you know, Carter in 1921, 1922, whenever it was, when he opened the tomb of Tutankhamun, you know, he essentially was like breaking and entering into a sacred chamber. But you know, the classic mummy, it featured very heavily in the early and mid 20th century in a lot of creature feature films, and actually even in the 1990 bisexual agenda affirming film that is The Mummy with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz and a whole bunch of other people. That film, so much hotness in one film. I can't even. Anyway, yeah. So we've got a mummy, and then see here we have the supplicants in this original. I like two of the cats. And the cats don't look like they're mummified because, you know, cats would often, lots of creatures would be mummified with cats, with mummies. Lots of animals would be mummified with, they would have, and sometimes even servants would die. And I mean, people say, oh, it was an honor and they were willing to do it. But I'm like, were they though? I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. It brings up a lot of questions, but I think it's a fun idea. And actually, if you think about it, if you know, there's a really interesting documentary, and I can't remember if it's on Netflix or if it's on Amazon or if it was on BBC, and it's a tomb being excavated in Egypt, in the Valley of the Kings, I believe. And it's being excavated by Egyptians, which is amazing, right? That's really what we want to see. They're excavating their own tombs. And it is a tomb of a priest or sort of religious officiant. And it shows that, I mean, it's a really, I can't remember what it's called, but it's fascinating. And they uncover bones and they recreate the faces. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's really interesting. I think it's about an hour and a half. It's well worth the watch if you can find it, but it makes sense in my head now. I'm thinking maybe this mummy could be that guy that we see, and he had a family, you know, and they could tell what the people had died from, and there was his children were in there, like his whole family was in this tomb in different like pits. Fascinating. And the right people excavating it, being very sensitive towards it. Really cool. So we have the lovers. Now this, anyone that's read Bram Stoker's Dracula are going to recognize this scene immediately. And it could be two scenes, actually. It could be Dracula. Oh, there he is. Coming into the window to Lucy earlier in the book. And if you've seen, I guess, in the film, Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola, which does sort of change things a bit. It could be Lucy, or it could be later when he goes after Mina. And maybe it is Mina because she does have letters and she was writing letters to John. But then hadn't John got back by the time, because obviously he was trying to get Vlad to London because he was trying to buy property, and that's why Jonathan Harker went over. It's been a while since I read the book. But either way, this is Dracula coming in. Or if anyone that's seen any like lesbian vampire films of the 70s or like cheesy Hammer horrors, this scene feels very sort of apropos. But if you look at the bedding, it looks like very similar to the bedding. It's got how do you say it? It's got like rings, like commitment rings or wedding rings. It's got hearts, and then what appears to be the astrological symbol maybe for Gemini. I'm not quite sure if it's meant to be gemstones, but it's really interesting. And then you've got these drapes with the bats and the like vines on. So who knows? And there's a dog in this one. I'm so here for the dog. And then even just like the tiny touch, can you see again? There's a snake holding the curtain back. Is it like a snake-shaped curtain holder, or is it an actual snake? Who knows? And even like the little pumpkin on the window. This deck. And maybe it is Mina because she's got oh my God, I never noticed that on the small version. There's literally a little photo of Jonathan Harker underneath the letter. I'm so glad I have this larger version. But anyway, the Dracula is like coming in to get her. So, you know, people have different connotations about the lovers, whether it can mean choice or commitments or relationships or all sorts of other things. But there's a different dynamic going on here, right? But it's interesting. So just the Chariot again. This deck it's just too much fun. It's a fucking hearse, guys. And my head immediately jumps to what's her name? Is it Kate? No, what's her name? In 6 Feet Under, it's Kate, right? The daughter, and she's driving that old green and cream hearse, and everyone's like, oh, she's a creepy guy because her family run a funeral home. If you've never seen 6 Feet Under, check it out. It's one of my favorite all-time shows. It's amazing. Michael C. Hall in his like pre-Dexter days, and I'm like, why are people like making fun of her? That car is fucking lit. Like, I would love. I don't want like you know, I love hearses. I know I'll probably end up in one at some point, you know, but, you know, to have that as like your actual car that you drive around, like how cool is that? Sorry. You can see the cat is there. Oh, the cat is there sitting next to the pumpkin-headed driver. And there's like the railings have like spooky heads on them. And he looks like he's in control. It's pretty fancy as well for a hearse. It's got lots. Look at this decorative sphinx. It's a hot rod essentially. These are the kind of hot rods I see at the car show at Viva Las Vegas. But yeah, it's just fun. I imagine that if you could see the front of the car, you would see like a different coloured sphinx on the other side. But we just have to imagine that it's there because obviously it has more dynamism because there's movement, right? He's driving and you can see where he's been. You can see the windy road where he's already been. So you've got, again, there's different connotations. This feels very static and staid. This feels very like he's going somewhere. Do you see what I mean? Obviously you see what I mean. You're not idiots. Okay. Again, the strength one is pretty much a like for like. It's just dressed in a different clothing. So here we have the lion tamer, and actually the ringleader is like checking the lion's throat or teeth. I'd imagine that would usually be a vet, but I guess the aesthetics of a vet wouldn't be as fun. So you get the lemniscate on the curtains of the tent or the cage that he's in. And this one I'm less of a fan of, purely because I'm not a fan of animals in captivity, especially for people's entertainment. Obviously, that's something that is being stamped out, thankfully, around the world, just slowly it's dying a death, which is good. But at the time that this deck is harking back to, this definitely would have been a thing. So not my favorite depiction. I do actually prefer the original version because it's sort of like it's less. The line doesn't feel like it's being exploited. Does that make sense? So yeah. So the Hermit again. Now I love the original Hermit, but I do really enjoy this one as well. I don't know if I like it as much as the OG because this is iconic, but I do love that the Hermit is like this mad scientist. He has, can you see, a disembodied hand. It's really hard to see with my camera because it's a bit fuzzy, but there is a hand, a decapitated hand sticking out the top of his pocket. Obviously we've got the cat, there's a little mouse, lab mouse, which is, make of that what you will. We've got some sort of chonky boy toad over here, and it appears that he's been doing some kind of, you can see that he wants to animate a pumpkin or make a sentient pumpkin, and I guess that's what he's working on. I don't know if that's a self-portrait in the background on the wall there. You've got a little skull, a scalpel. So I'm guessing that, the test tube that is holding up is meant to be a bit like the Hermit's lamp. But it makes sense because the oh, hello, long-haired, skinny-eyed toe. Lovely to see you. So who said some Jackie's in here? Yeah, so I've tried. Justin says that 6 Feet Under is his favourite show. Claire, why was I thinking Kate? Claire, of course. Claire Fisher of the Fisher family. Which Baby Farmer says, how problematic is it that all these supposed romantic scenes in movies have men coming through windows in bed? Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. It is kind of, problematic and kind of creepy. But there you go. The history of Hollywood is rife with with creepiness. Bye, 6 of Wands. Oh, you're here, but you couldn't type. Oh, okay, sorry. I can't even wear wide leg trousers in case. Oh my God, I have done that before when I've had palazzo pants on and I've just tripped. Oh my God. Struggle is real, folks, honestly. It's embarrassing. Oh dear. I always find it amusing when people spend their valuable time on this planet shit posting and just being weird. Like, that's what you choose to do with your time, babe. Okay, but you do you, boo. But I feel sorry for you, just letting you know. But yeah, so obviously that image of a mad scientist, and actually if you think about Victor Frankenstein in the original book, he becomes so obsessed when he goes to university and he starts working on this project, because he's a star pupil, and he starts to think he knows better, right? So he locks himself away in his attic room, and he is working away diligently. Mary Shelley he describes how gaunt he's becoming because he's not getting any sunlight, he's not getting any food, he's not looking after himself. He's just obsessed. He is a man possessed. He is a focal one thing he's focused on, and in that sense he very much is the hermit, right? So this to me isn't what Victor Frankenstein would look like, because Victor Frankenstein is very young in the book. He's only at uni, 24, 25 years old max, probably younger from what I remember. But it makes sense though, right? But we all love, well, you might not all love this. Oh. Some people are so fucking sad. Oh, some people just want attention. Bless. I mean, don't we all though? Like, what am I here doing this video? But some people are just like, there we go. Some people are just weird about it, right? Don't be weird. That was meant to be Splatzo. Is this a reference I'm not understanding? Is this an American reference? Who's Splatzo? Which baby farmer? Oh, Palazzo. Sorry, you're talking about Palazzo pants. Oh, Splatzo? No, I'm confused. Computer says no. Just checking. Who wants a spanner? I'm not calling you spanners. I just say who wants a spanner, because none of my regular mods are in at the moment. Let me go into my channel, because I think I can only do it via the YouTubes itself, not via StreamYard. I'm gonna have to pause myself. Let's see who would like a. Oh, Robin. Hey, Robin, you're right. Yeah, there's positive percentages that. I mean, people just, I don't know, people have nothing better to do with their time. It is really pathetic and sad. I do kind of feel sorry for them, really. Like, what's wrong with you? Does anyone want a spanner? Scott's like, no. Okay. There you go. Use your spanner wisely, Scott. Robin's just popped in. Okay, we've got a mod. Right, I've gone back in. Oh, there's a bone. Oh no, Kaz, this is my brain. I was like, oh, there's a bone emoji, and then I looked a bit closely with my glass on. Oh, it's a wrench. But my bone. I guess I am looking at the Halloween tarot, so I've got spooky on the brain, right? 6 of Wands wants to be a mod as well. Okay, let's just add another. Just because Scott's not carrying the weight of dealing with sad folks on his own. There we go. Right. Okay. Everyone's favorite book. Everyone's favorite. My spuffle. My pop filter won't stay. There we go. Favorite card out of all the majors. The Wheel of Fortune. Is this anyone's favorite card? Anyone? Bueller. I don't know anyone that this is their favorite card. Like, I feel bad for people who's fucking numerologically that this is their birth card, because oof, it's just usually just a hot mess. I don't know. I'm sorry if this is your favorite card, but why though? I want to know why. What is it about it? I specifically have a dislike for this one. I prefer the Marseille version. I feel like it makes more sense to me, where you see the varying sort of, you can see people going up and being crushed underneath. It makes more sense to me. This one, it's what's it that that Cher says about Amber in Clueless. She's like, oh, she's a full-on Marseille. And she's like, from a distance, she looks fine. She looks okay, but up close, she's a full-on mess. Like, I feel like this about the, like, you know. Yay, someone got the Ferris Bueller reference. I did that in like one of my D&D games recently, a couple of weeks ago, and it was like fucking crickets. And then they were all like, oh, we don't, I hate, nearly all of them were like, I hate like teen movies. And I'm like, oh no, because like I love Ferris Bueller. Like some of them are problematic, especially the John Hughes ones, right? There's like like there's problems, obviously. The 80s, am I right? In the 90s. But I fucking love Clueless. I watched the shit out of Clueless. Oh my God. Like I can still quote it. Like and it's so quotable, and it's such a clever adaptation of Emma. Like, come on, people. But anyway, we were looking at the Wheel of Fortune and not making pop culture references. And I love this one, and it's very similar to the one in the Zombie Tarot, because I believe the one in the Zombie Tarot is a lady, like a showgirl, like a magician's assistant, because it makes sense she's having knives thrown at her on a wheel as well. And maybe also a bit like the Fae Tarot, because there is a fairy, I believe, pinned to a wheel. Maybe, I think. I may be wrong, misremembering that. But I just love that. It's literally just a Wheel of Fortune. He's having knives thrown at him. He looks how I would be looking. No, actually, I wouldn't even be looking like this. I would be screaming. I would have wet myself, so there'd be a wet patch. I probably would have pooped myself as well, let's be honest. But I love that there's like a little mouse and an elephant foot. And I'm like, there's the elephant. The mouse is like about to like poke the elephant, and I can't tell if it's meant to be the elephant. The elephant is spinning the wheel, or maybe the elephant is holding the wheel still. The elephant is the magician's assistant, and this poor Rube is a volunteer from the audience. And this wee mouse, as soon as it tweet, tweet, on that elephant's foot, that wheel is going to spin. And I'm worried about that guy's nuts, not going to lie. It's going to end bad. I find his his holding of a shamrock really interesting. Like that's his one little bit of luck. His little luck token is like his little 4-leaf clover. It's like, please don't let me get hit. Yeah, it's an elephant trunk, Liam, at the top. But I love that you can see his little foot at the bottom, like that little addition of the mouse about to touch him. It's clever. It's fun. Justice, obviously at 11, because we're looking at the Smith-Waite system. And we have a creepy pumpkin guy, a lot like the pumpkin folk from Over the Garden Wall. He's got a raven or a crow on his shoulder. There's an owl in the tree. We've got some bats in the tree. Like there's a whole thing, the cat's there. There's some kind of, sorry, my elbow keeps like rubbing on my on my desk and making weird squeaky noises. There's like a little poppet at the bottom with pins in it. And then we have a little problematic. We've got what appears to be shrunken heads in the scales. So this deck is not without its issues, obviously. And then there's a rat that's being measured by a rat, which is an interesting. You're weighing a rat against skulls, heads. I don't know, but it does immediately make me think of Beetlejuice. But yeah, problematic stereotypes again, right? Not to mention that they are actually fake. But yeah, so yeah, it's a bit more. There's a lot. Well, not a bit more. There's a lot more going on in this Justice than this one. This one's. I actually think I prefer this one because it's so much more sort of less stressful to look at. Like I find this one a bit like. I know the scales are meant to be the focus, but it's all very. I don't know. And he's like creepy hands, just freaky. I know it's meant to be freaky because it's a Halloween tarot. So we're halfway through with this one. We are on to we're at 12 because Justice is 11. We're more than halfway through. We've got the Hanged Man. We have a Scarecrow. I guess that makes sense. It appears to be like flame. I can't work out if it's meant to be just like stylized wheat or crops in the background, or if that's fire, and I mean, it doesn't look fluid enough to be flames. It looks a bit jagged, and like he's going to be in real trouble because he's made of straw. I don't know. I never can quite work out what's going on in the background there. But you've got the two crows or ravens. They could almost be Hugin and Munin, Odin's birds, thought and memory. I mean, I guess you could read that into it, right? We have these like creepy, like green pumpkins. Are they not ripe? Are pumpkins green before they get ripe? That might sound like a really daft question, but I've only ever seen ripe pumpkins. But I've definitely had bought pumpkins that have might have like green patches in them. But I don't know if that's just the pumpkin. That's just not, I don't know. But yeah, let's do the old, I mean, he looks quite frightening. I'm not going to lie. Oh dear. But yeah, it's quite a fun depiction. It doesn't deviate massively. It doesn't add anything huge into it. The main thing I would say is you could imagine that the birds are Hugin and Munin. If you wanted to read that into it, I guess. So, because I guess that would make sense, because if you look, like when you think about the Hanged Man, some people do associate it with Odin hanging from Yggdrasil, and then obviously then that has ties with the Hanged Man, but then that makes sense to have Hugin and Munin. So I guess there is a reference there, right? It can work. I'm just going to have another quick look through the comments before I go on to the next one. I just hate to miss anything. I'll try not to get drunk with power. Shauna, behave yourself. I don't know if I've ever seen a pretty Wheel of Fortune card. I mean, that one's pretty, well, no, it's not pretty, but it's fun. Oh no, Lennon. Hey Lennon, how are you doing? It's what you sneaking in there. Is the Wheel of Fortune your card? No, I feel bad now. Is it your card as in like numerologically, or is it like that's your card as in like that's my favorite? I get the feeling you mean like it's like your birth card. The one from the Everyday Witch. Yes, I think she's on a spinny wheel, right? Maybe. Yeah, the Marseille. See, I knew Justin, of course, is going to like the Marseille because Justin is like Mr. Marseille. Amanda says it's your birth card and it's a bit meh. Oh no, Amanda. Had the Clueless video, watched it until the tape. Yeah, I did as well. I watched my Clueless VHS until it was showing those like wiggly lines and it was wrecked. And then I got it on DVD. So yeah. Yeah, it has black cats in a black cat in every single card, which Baby Farmer. Yeah, and on the back. It's really cool. I'm so ticked off. My Jack-o'-lantern tarot delivery has been indefinitely delayed by Amazon. I was hoping to have it last week. It was supposed to come. There's a Jack-o'-lantern tarot. See, I'm so out of the loop because I'm not really buying decks. I'm not looking at like I don't look at like the catalogs of what's coming out for the main publishers anymore. So I have no idea. I have enough spooky decks though. I try not to buy anymore. Yeah, shout out to Legally Blonde. Like, what? Like it's hard? Yes, Elle Woods is awesome. Oh, Fitz is here. Hi, Fitz. You all right, my dear? I hope your deck arrives soon, though, Robin. That sucks. I don't know if it's Llewellyn or Amazon that can't get it together. It could be either, let's be honest. Jack-o'-lantern tarot. Yeah, people are like, there's a Jack-o'-lantern tarot? Pray tell. I'll have to look at that up afterwards. Starlevo, hello. Bye, Justin. You take care. Oh my God, my nose is itching. It's my birth card, but I do love it. I'm glad that you like it. Like it being your birth card and all. There are so many reasons though. Please, I would fucking love a video about why you love it because I need to try and love that card a little bit more. I think we also sometimes we get that card in a reading and we can automatically read it in sort of a negative way, but you know it's neutral. Really, so yeah. Okay, let's go to Death, which is one of my favorite cards in almost every deck. It's one of those cards like the Hermit, Death, the Moon, the Tower, the Star, and sometimes the High Priestess are like the main cards that I'm like looking at when I'm looking at a deck. Like I like those. I want to be able to like those cards in a deck. But oh boy, this is so much fun. The Death. Oh my god, the Death in the Halloween Tarot. He's in his garden. He is watering his pumpkins. There's a vulture there. Can you see the wrong side? The vulture. And there's a death's head's moth there in the corner. There's obviously the cat. I love the like little bit of the cat. The cat's tail is like winding up the skeleton's leg, death's leg. You've got the Ankh pinned to the post there as well. And this like these huge sun, but I'm assuming they're sunflowers, even though they're blue. Maybe it's like the color because it's nighttime, but they have these like huge smiling faces, and you can see like Saturn in the background. So I don't know if is Saturn. Oh my god, I've literally just noticed for the first time ever the fucking ship on the water in the death card in the Smith-Waite Centennial. I literally just thought that was just like a random blob. Because is it that far away? I thought that stream was like really right by them, but that ship's tiny. How have I never noticed that before? Is this in that book? I'm sorry, I just need to check this book. How have I not ever noticed this? Where's the book? I'm getting the book. I'm sorry, we're having a side quest. Squirrel. Speaking of squirrels, has anyone been watching Doug on Disney Plus? Oh my god, I have like 3 episodes left. The last one we watched was Science. I cried at the last. Was it that one? Yeah, it was. The last one I watched was Science. Makes me cry, but like in a good way. It's so cute. I cannot. Okay. I am like, what? Fuck, how have I? It says it here. 7. The Ship of Souls. An image from Egyptian mythology to be found reflected in the many religions, the boat which carries the souls from death to reincarnation. Thus, this card also stands for the changing phases of life. Well, fuck me, you learn something every day. How have I never noticed that? Seriously, my eyesight. And I've never I've like dipped in and out of this book, but like usually when I'm noticing something in a card, I want to look it up, and because that's the first time I've noticed the ship, I've never really looked up the ship. I'm like, this is what I mean, right? You're always learning about tarot, always. How mad is that? There we go. It shows you how fucking observant I can be, which is not very, obviously. What Blessed Anonymity, the book. It's really good. There's a couple that do this where they like break down the imagery and symbolism in the books, but this one is the ultimate guide. I'm showing it, but I think, is it coming up the right way around? Oh, it is. The ultimate guide to the Rider-Waite Tarot, and that's Joanne Fiebig and Evelyn Berger. And I think Joanne Fiebig did a Thoth book, about the Thoth Tarot. I'm not 100% sure on that. It might say in the front previous works about this book. Acknowledgements. It doesn't say previous works by the author. I'm pretty sure there was the name rings a bell. I might be getting mixed up with someone else. But yeah, I just love, you've got like, can you see the Tudor rose on the watering can to go with the Tudor rose in the flag? Like there's just all these little, I just love it. And there's like a little, I never noticed this before in this deck. Again, up until just a few weeks ago, I only had the mini version of this deck. There's a little snail. Oh. And there's like a little brat. But it's interesting because they are watering this garden. Now, is this there are people buried under this garden and they have provided the nourishment for the pumpkins and he's reaping the pumpkins? I don't know. You can view it in different ways. The pumpkins are really happy though. I mean, are they sentient pumpkins, or are they just, have they been carved? Because I doubt you would carve a pumpkin while it's still in on the vine and then also be watering it. So to me, I'm like, they're sentient pumpkins. It's fine. This is Halloween world. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. I haven't watched that yet. I'm saving it for October. It's a dual holiday film. Temperance. I love this Temperance in this deck. Sorry, I get very excited. But look, she's got a freaking cauldron. We love a cauldron. She's got her books. She has what appears to be like a very tiny dog out of her pocket. So I'm like, in my head, this is me with Dr. Nomi, because she's a redhead. She's got a little dog. She's like making potions. You know, I'm into herbalism and, well, obviously witchcraft. And she's brewing something, or maybe she's making soup. I'm making soup tonight. I'm doing carrot, parsnip, and butterbean soup for dinner tonight. So maybe she's got a pot of soup going, or some stew. Because it's getting to, I say that though, it's pretty hot out. I don't know if I'm going to want soup or to be like standing by a pot of soup, boiling soup this evening in the kitchen. If it's still going to be warm, I might have to switch up my food plans. Oh my god, that bloody construction noise. But I just, you know, it's just cute. And then can you see, my brain cannot cope with the switch around. I keep putting them. But can you see here, there's like some kind of container, and it looks, I don't know if it's meant to be liquid or salt. I think it's meant to be maybe water, because I think it's got the alchemical symbol of water on there. Again, that's the first time I've really been able to notice the symbol specifically, because I had such the small version. Everything is obviously smaller. I love that she's got stripy black and white tights. I have stripy black and white tights. She's got all her little measuring spoons. Like, it's just, and all her like jars of things and her books. Like, this literally could be my bookshelf and my little trolley down there with all my jars of stuff, and like with the cauldron on the trolley. I just love it. There's like a little angry head in a jar. I don't know. It's just cool. Look at the book with the little, maybe that's the book about poisonous plants, or witching herbs, like this one in my head. It could be The Witching Herbs by Harold Roth. There's a really good book. Well, it looks to be really good book that's about poisonous plants. And I can't remember if it's in, there's one I think that is in conjunction with Kew Gardens, but I think there's also one in conjunction with the Poison Garden that's somewhere, I can't remember where it is, somewhere in England, and I'd love to visit it one day. And I can't remember if it's in conjunction with that, but it's black and green like cover. It's really pretty. I want that book. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? But this one, it feels more like, this one feels more like alchemy and like just sort of like fannying about with stuff. I can't think of the phrase I want to use. She's experimenting. I don't know. Whereas this one is very much more sort of removed. It's angelic. It's all very like, it feels much more celestial and grand. Whereas this is a more down to earth, relatable temperance, and much more, you know, because we often people talk about the mages. If mages turn up in your reading, they represent big life things. Blah. But actually, we need ways. That's not always the case. We need ways to relate the mages to everyday life. And I've said it in the videos before, and I'll say it again. There's a really great video by Tom Benjamin where he talks about the mages as minor issues or grounded everyday earthly issues, so that you don't always have to go, oh, it's the tower, it means everything's going to shit. It could mean like something entirely different and more grounded and less like scary, as an example. So yeah, I really like the temperance in this. Oh my god, I need to speed this up because I have been on for over an hour, and my husband's going to be back from walking Nomi soon, and I need to make lunch. I'm just getting quite hungry now, actually. The devil, she's got her little minions. They're looking a little perturbed, but she's it's pretty self-explanatory. Look at this little like baby in a jar, or little person in a jar, or it's one of these little dudes in a jar. You've got there's lots of rats in this. This rat looks like it's got the hump. You've got like, there's a hand with a candle drawn on it. So I don't know if that's meant to be like, you know, the hand of fate, where you like get the hand of a convict, and you like, it's a whole thing. gross and problematic. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe, is it the Hand of Glory, the Hand of Fate, the Monkey's Paw? There's like loads of different names for it. And there's just like stack of skulls. Oh my God, stack of skulls going on. It's great. Pretty self-explanatory. The cat though eyeing up this rat. Maybe that's why the rat's looking away. The rat's like, if I can't see the cat won't be able to see me. My dog does that. She's like, if I like can't see my mum, she can't see me or what I'm doing. It's like, oh, dogs are such derpy things, aren't they? I'm sure cats do it as well. Le Tower, Le Torre, La Maison du. I mean, spooky house. It looks to be like in that Queen Anne style that you get over in the States, which I love. And the top's been blown off to keep it sort of classic. And then you've got all these like ghosties coming out the top instead of people. And that very much makes me think about Ghostbusters when they like shut off the storage containment system. And then all the ghosts are like, wee, out the top. And then they go all over the place. But then also like there's like, I love that there's like ghosts just like inside the windows. It's so cute. Obviously you've got the black cat, which is standard. We've got a grotesque. So I guess the cat, maybe the original grotesque from the other side fell off, and so the cat is like standing on that one. We've got like a pumpkin on one of the railings. That makes me feel like either the person whose house this is has done that to be kind of threatening and to scare trick-or-treaters away, or just some little shit of a kid has gone past and like stolen someone else's pumpkin from outside their house and then like shoved it on someone else's railings, which is also probably pretty trick-or-treaty, right? And then again, you see this reoccurring theme because you get the datura around the front again that we've seen in several cards now, including the Fool at the beginning. And yeah, you can see there's just like one lone red dry leaf clinging on to the tree there. But yeah, and then there's a salamander there. Can you see the little salamander? But I love this one very, very much. It's like made the Tower card really cute and inviting, which is probably quite difficult to do, right, for the Tower. The Star is an interesting one in this deck, and I don't really know how I feel about it. I've never really quite jived with it. And I'd be interested to know what other people's thoughts on it. So obviously we've got the cat, we've got the... it appears to be maybe a factory in the background pumping out smoke. There's a clock tower. We have this gargoyle, and we know it's a gargoyle because there's a little drip of water coming out of its mouth. People call all statuary that's on the top of like cathedrals and stuff gargoyles. Unless if it gargoyles take water runoff and release water out of their mouths or some part of the statuary. If it doesn't release water, capture and release water, it's a grotesque. So this is definitely a gargoyle. But yeah, and you've got the Star. I mean, actually, you know, I've never thought to look at the book for this card because that would make sense, wouldn't it? Should we have a look? I've always just been like, I don't get it. Should we see what it says about the... I don't think it has a very small amount because it's just one little white. Okay. As gargoyles channel water, this card offers new hope, understanding, optimism, renewal, clarity, insight, the harmony of the subconscious and conscious, and outpouring of feeling. Let's see, I still don't... It doesn't really... I'm not feeling it. I like the artwork, just as an interpretation, I'm not feeling it. So I don't like absolutely love every single card in this deck, obviously. The last few, and then I'll go back through the chat before I sign off. So the moon, I love the moon because we have this wolf in the midst of transitioning into like full howling at the moon wolf mode. We have a fucking French bulldog. Oh my god, yes. We have our cat in the background there. There's like a sign with a lobster pointing that way. I'm not sure if that's meant to mean anything other than they were trying to get a lobster in it. But I love that the French bulldog is the counterpart to the wildness of the werewolf, because obviously in a lot of the decks you have like a wolf and a domestic dog, and we have that here, but we have like a werewolf and a domestic dog. I just think it's clever. We have poppies, we have a skull on the railings, there's the castle in the background. There's a pumpkin. There's a lot going on, a lot of sort of spooky imagery. But for me, this bit at the forefront here with these two, chef's kiss. 100% a chef's kiss. And actually last Friday was it last Friday or the Friday before? No, it was a couple of weeks ago. It was Friday 2. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow actually. Yeah, I rewatched What We Do in the Shadows because I mentioned it in my last live chat. The sun. This one's really cute. I love this sun card. I love that there's these trolls or ogres and they have stuffed their face. Fee fi fo fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. And they have sucked the bones dry. They've sucked the marrow and they've got this stack of skulls. And they're laying asleep amongst all the lovely sunflowers. And then there's like this really tiny little, I don't know if they're meant to be inside a cave and the sun is shining through because you can see stalactites hanging here and there's like bats hanging and like the more shrunken heads, unfortunately. So I feel like this is like a nod to cave art. Like in the smaller version, I wasn't quite sure, but looking at the larger version, I'm inclined to think they are in a cave and the sun is shining through. So they're resting for the day. They'll probably come out again at night because maybe they'll turn to stone if they go out in the day. Oh my God. And now I want to rewatch Troll Hunter. I need to see if I can find that on any streaming service. I love that film. It's so fun. It's so clever. I think it's Norwegian. Has anyone else seen Troll Hunter? It's so good. But yeah, of course, I'm going to love it compared to the naked baby riding on a horse with no safety equipment, no saddle. I mean, ouch, because like he's like properly straddling that thing, or she or they are straddling that thing. And then I'll say it again. This is dangerous. This kid is riding this. The wind whips just the wrong way. That red flag is going to be right around that kid's neck, and that kid is getting yanked off the horse and strangulated. It's so dangerous. So dangerous. I know it's symbolic, but like that's what my head sees. The judgment cards. We've got 2 more cards. Judgment card, which is just so good. Oh, Dracula, and it says rise my minions, awaken sleeper. And then we've got like traditional sort of cemetery tombstone imagery, which obviously you'll notice Patrick Valenza uses a lot of this Victorian tombstone iconography. I think Caitlin Doherty over on the Ask a Mortician channel quite a few years ago now did a video about Victorian tombstone iconography. I may be misremembering. I know she's talked about it in videos, but I love that stuff. And we do have some of that stuff over here in the UK as well. I find it fascinating whenever I spot something like that in a graveyard or in a cemetery. It's very, very cool. Isn't it, Leanne? It's so cool. But yeah, I just like this idea. I mean, they're mummified, so I don't know why a vampire would be like, you know, rising mummies, or maybe it's just their death shrouds, because in Victorian era people sometimes were just draped in death shrouds, rather depending on how much money you had, I guess, also. And maybe these are he's bitten them, they've been buried, and now he's gone to go wake them up and be, rise my minions, rise. And the final card, again, the world card isn't always my favorite in the Smith-Waite. I do like the world card in a bunch of other decks. People have done sort of prettier interpretations. I think it's just I find the 4 creatures in the corners like kind of fugly. Like I don't mind this middle bit. It's like it's a bit of a hot mess. I don't know. I just really don't like this. And there's like the floating head thing. I don't know. But this version, look, it's the cat. We've completed the cat's journey through the major arcana. The cat does show up in all the minors as well. Don't worry, his journey's not over. But he, of course, is the one. He, she, they, it doesn't matter. It could be, you can project anything onto it as a cat. And I love so much that it's like the bones around instead of the wreath, and it's like a tree, and in the tree it says Nidhogg was here. I don't know what that refers to, but I love that there's like something scratched into it. It's easier to read on this larger version. And then we've got like bony, white or ghostly versions of different creatures. And this little pumpkin dude at the top. I mean, come on. It's just fun. It's just fun. So yeah, there's no way I can do the whole deck. We are almost an hour and a half in. I'm going to chew my arms off if I don't eat something. So I need to go make some food. I think I'm going to make some kind of like toasted sourdough sandwich thing. Maybe with vegan cheese. Anyway, I'm starting to daydream about food. That's never good. Okay, I will endeavour to maybe. Would people be interested in seeing the suits, the pips, and the courts, or is this like just has been like boring for people? I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, Jesus, are people really going to watch me chat about compare two decks? Because I get a bit self-conscious that I sound like a banana, and I get very excited when I like something about a card, and I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh God, just calm your tits. But I can't help myself. It's just part of the way I am. So let's go have a look through the chat, because I think there's quite a bit that I need to get through. Doop, 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 doop. Oh my goodness, yes. I think I'm up. Okay, let's see. So I saw Justin say goodbye. Leanne's favourite death card. Death is in your favourite. Death is in this, or your favourite card of all time is death, Leanne. This must be the best card in the deck. It is very fun. Jack-o'-lantern was done by the artist who did the mystical tarot and pre-Raphaelite tarot. Oh, okay. I'll have a look. Thanks, Robin. This might be a dumb question, but how do you figure out your birth card? I'm sure someone's already worked that out. And there are a couple of different ways of doing that, depending on the kind of numerology that you use. My cards, I got it via like astrologically speaking. So the star card and then the strength card are my two cards, because I'm Aquarius and Leo or something. I don't know. And also when you divide the star card, you then also get strength, as in you add the star card digits. Anyway, never mind. Meow, 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 meow. That little ship came up in Jen's tarot play day asking. I didn't do much of tarot play day. I tried to join in at the beginning, but it was at such an awkward time of a Sunday for me that I couldn't work it with like the way I structure my Sundays. There is also a tunnel for the ship to go through, if I'm not mistaken, in the death. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Thanks, Scott. I remember the days when I could order if and it would be there the next day. Okay. Talking about Amazon. What? Oh, I saw the book. Robin says that's one of the fantastic things about tarot. You can look. Let's put that in. You can. I always forget that I can put. Come on. There we go. I forget that you can like post people's comments. I always forget that. What a banana. That's one of the fantastic things about tarot. You can look at the same card a million times and still see something new you never noticed before, right? It's so much fun. It's a very handy reference book. I love its dissecting all of the symbol elements. Hello, Jamie. Lovely to see you. I heard jack-o'-lanterns were originally carved out of turnips. Yes, they were, in Scotland and Ireland especially. Not so much in England, because Samhain or Halloween or All Souls, it wasn't so much a tradition. I think it was probably something that was brought further down south to England via sort of Scottish and Irish immigrants. So like my family is Scottish and Irish. My grandmother's Irish. She grew up in Ireland. She has an Irish accent. So for her, it would have been turnips. And then we got the sort of like Americanized version sort of imported through the 80s. I think, E.T. as a film did quite a bit for the UK over here. Because I have loads of friends that grew up in the UK that were like, oh, I didn't trick or treat as a kid. And I'm like, what? Because we really did a lot, like all the time as kids. I mean, we couldn't really have costumes because my mum couldn't afford to buy or make costumes. So it was like whatever you could make out of like black bin bags, which usually meant tying on a bin bag as a cape, and then that being your witch's cape or your vampire cape or whatever, or like trying to get some like bits of old rags and wrapping them around and making yourself a mummy. Like we were poor folks. So we made do. Occasionally I'd be able to go into Woolworths or like a pound shop and get like those witches' fingers and like the really bad like plastic like vampire teeth, the ones that plasticky horrible gnarly things. But yeah, for the most part I was pretty much a witch like a witch or a vampire. And I think one year I was a vampire witch for literally like every Halloween, because I guess, I don't know, they were my favorites and they were the easiest for my mum to do with a bin bag, black bin bag. Oh dear. Let's see. Jamie says, first chilly morning here, and I'm breaking this deck out off the shelf. Yay! Absolute favourite. Awesome. Fall is coming. You wouldn't think it here. It's like 22 degrees right now. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Enough for bloody middle of September. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Sorry, just saying. Teen Wolf card. Yeah, Michael J. Fox. That's a blast from the past. Although they did a TV series. I watched the first few episodes, but I was like, I can't get into it. I think it's just because I'm getting to that age where I don't really care about teen stuff anymore. It's not relatable to me. Like if I'm watching stuff I watched as a teen, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or in my early 20s, like, or early to mid 20s, like Supernatural. Yeah, but otherwise I'm not really into watching teens as a 40-year-old woman. I don't know. Oh no, it's Thursday and you've got Nandor tonight. We have to wait over here in the UK for What We Do in the Shadows. It's so not for. Is Nandor your favourite, Robert? I love Nandor. I mean, I like all of them, but Nandor is just sweet. Like, I really love Iago in the original film because, like, he's so sweet. There's a sweetness to him. Yes, Jamie's seen Troll Hunter. It's great. So I just getting sunburnt on his bottom. I love the stylized devilish look of the cats. Yeah, they're very pointy, aren't they? They remind me a bit of the style they've gone for in Disenchantment for Lucy, Princess Tia Bean's little demon, consciousness demon or whatever, little demon, little devil, Damon. Looks a bit like Lucy, no? What does the book say about Nidhogg was hit? I don't know if it does, actually. Should we see? Yeah, it doesn't. I remember reading about it and thinking that was odd that they didn't mention it. A sense of oneness with others or in the world around you. Spiritual understanding, completion, success, euphoria, cycles, movement, travel. Although, am I correct in thinking that there was a larger guidebook that you could buy separately for this, but it's probably out of print, so I'm never going to be able to get a copy? If anyone has it, let me know. Or if anyone knows, let me know. I cut the edges off of my mini version so that it'll be even more mini, because why not? It's so cute though. Speaking of mini, I've got mini here as well. I've been making mini art journals from Roxanne Coble of Bai Bung. She's got this mini art journal class, and I have until the 1st of October until my access to the videos run out. You get a year's access. So I've been panic art journaling. So I'm partway through. I've completed this spread. I've mostly finished this spread. I want to add some more to it. It feels like it needs more. And then I've just sort of not long started adding into this spread. So yeah, I'm working. This is Gabby and All the Animals. I can't remember. She's a singer, but I did her hair once at an event. Her hair and makeup. She was very lovely. So yeah, once upon a time when I used to do hair and makeup professionally before there was a Panini. Weird times. I will watch the entire deck, says Leanne. Yes, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the suits, says Jamie. I would watch the suits. Oh my God, you will. Bless you. I don't sound like a fruit. It's interesting. You don't sound like a fruit, a banana. It's just a thing, right? Like in the UK, a lot of people say, oh, you banana, or you sausage, you silly sausage, your plonker, your dipstick, all sorts. Oh, Nidhogg is a name for the world tree in Norse. Lennon, bring in the vital information. Thank you. That makes sense, doesn't it? Thanks for the live. Almost midnight here. Oh my goodness, Kaz, go to bed. Bless you. Thank you for sticking around. Off to bed for a happy Friday tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Yeah, I hope you have a lovely... Oh, avocado toast. I very rarely buy avocados because the sort of carbon footprint on them is a lot. they have to be a bit of a treat. And also, it's really hard to get nice avocados. If I'm in California, I'm eating a lot of avocado because, you know, you get Californian avocados and they're delicious. But yeah. Oh dear, it's so late. We'll have to watch the bulk of this chat. But hello, Anne. Lovely to see you. I was trying to get this done in under an hour and a half. We've got less than a minute. Anything you do is exciting. Oh, Scott, you charmer, you. Alicia, yes, please do the suits. I tuned in specifically for the 7 of Wands and Imps. I don't quite get it. Oh, okay. Well, duly noted. Thank you, Alicia. I'll see if I can remember to do the Imps and / Wands next then, if I can remember. Brant, hello, my lovely. Brant says, of course, how would I know that Brant would know this? Of course, Mr. What's the word? Mr. knows the things about old decks thing, vintage decks, retro decks. I definitely need to eat because I can't even like articulate, and I'm not usually very good at that at the best of times. Which baby farmer knows who Bye Bun is? Yes, awesome. She's lovely. I love her. Although I was really sad to hear the little Lurchy passed away. I cried my eyes out when I saw that on Instagram and like on her thingy. R.I.P. Lurchy. Not much flooding here anymore. Lots of rain this week though. Oh my goodness, Brant. So stressful. Project Refined Life, hello. I'm about to sign off, I'm afraid, but thank you for popping in and saying hello. Baton Rouge was a question on Jeopardy the other night, as in what city translates as the French's red stick. Yes, Baton Rouge, or the suit of batons. So yeah, I'm going to go because I'm at an hour and a half. I did not think I was going to be this long, but I don't know why I can't seem to realize I'm always going to make long videos, especially if I'm live. So yeah, I am going to go do some food because I'm really hungry now and I'm very thirsty and a little hoarse, a tiny little horse. And I need to drink some more water because it's very hot here. So thank you to everyone who was here for this rambly comparison live. I will try to do the rest, but it will have to be around sewing my pouches and getting my Halloween collection together. So whenever I feel like I need a break from it, or I'm struggling to focus, or I just want to procrastinate, then I'll go live. So yeah, I'm going to go make some lunch. I hope you... Oh, thank you, Brant. That's brilliant. That'd be awesome. Thank you. I hope it's not like 12 million pounds, though. My goodness. But yeah, thank you to everyone who joined in. I don't mean to be an enabler, but you totally need this deck, Lennon. So yeah, thank you to everyone that joined in. Thank you for your feedback and the interesting information that we've had in the chat. People with lots of knowledge filling in those gaps where I have no idea what I'm talking about. And yeah, you all have a good Thursday if it's still Thursday for you, and those of you that have gone to bed that are on Australia or in other areas that are in the future from me, I hope you have a lovely Friday, and I'll speak to you all the next time I make a video, I guess. Stay safe, wear a mask, get your shot, look after yourselves.